Okay, so for today's video, we're going to look at how to hide our own cursor inside of a game, because I think 80% of the games I've played have nothing to do with cursor moving around the scene. As you can see on the screen, most of the games that you play, or the ones I have played anyway, have no cursor around during game time. So except for our own local games which have cursor moving around. So as you can see in the scene today, all I have is a ride. Alright, so let me play this so we can see what we have. Environment which you can drive it. There are currently no controls for this car, so there is no way for us to drive it. I think in videos that are coming forth in the future, I would do something car related, maybe a racing game also. But for now, let's just focus on the video. So today we're going to look at how to hide this cursor during gameplay, because as during the game you can see that the cursor was just moving around. We can see that again. So if you did not notice this last time, you can see that the cursor is moving around, so you can move it around as well as play the game. So this is not something we want. We want to remove this cursor and only call it when we see the need for it. So let's remove this. There is nothing in this scene except for these which I have. There is a car, and then there is a terrain, a main camera, and then a directional light, and there is X, which is a no-go area. As you can see, it's been set to not active, so it's not anything related to this video. Now inside of the project panel, we need to right click on it and then go into create, select C# script, and then we would name this cursor. Cursor hiding, or cursor hide. Alright, so once we do this, we can now right click on it and then open it. So I'll see you in Visual Studio. Right, so now inside of Visual Studio, what we need is first create a boolean. So let's make this a private one. Let's call this bool, and then we want to check if the game is active. So this would be if game is active. I want to set this by default to be true. Right, so I'm doing this on account that we've passed through the menu stage, or the menu of the game, and we're just going to start the game immediately. Okay, so I'm assuming that this part of the code which I'm doing is related to your part of starting the game immediately without the menu. So this is the part where you just start the game. There will be no menu, nothing right here. So this is it. So first, the private boolean game is active, and then next we want to have a float. Let me just call this number, and I will set this to be equal to 0. Normally if it's not set to anything, it would be 0, but I just want to declare this up here. Now inside of my start method, I want to lock the cursor. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and call on the lock cursor, which is a method that we would make later on as we go. Alright, so now with this done, we can go into our update and then check to see if some keys are pressed. So we will start with an if statement. So we'll type in if input dot get key down, and then this key is going to be key code dot let's use space, even though it's very uncommon. So we want to check to see if our space key has been pressed, and if our number is equal to 0, which it should be. Then once this is so, we want to set the game is active to be equal to false. So the game would no longer be active. And then we want to add this number. So let's change this number to 1. Okay, so this would be it. Once we press the space button, it checks to see if these two conditions are met. So if we are pressing it and the number is 0, then this would happen. And then we want an else if statement. So this would cover the other part. So let's copy this line. If input dot get key, so let's copy this. We want to also check to see if we're pressing the space key, but then in this case we want to set this number to 1. So we check for this condition. If the number is 1 and we are getting this button, then we want to execute this code. Right, so in this case it's going to be the reverse. Let's copy this game is active and paste it down here. So paste this, and then we want to set this to be true. And for the number, we bring this back to 0. So this would be it. And finally, our else statement, we would just return if there is nothing done. So we don't get a null if both conditions are wrong or if both conditions are not happening. Now that we've done this, we want to work with this active game. So we will check to see if the game is active is true. So if game is active, if this is true, okay, then okay, so once this game is active, we need to call on our method, which is the lock cursor. So I'm going to type in lock cursor. Okay. Alright, and then if this game is not active, then we want to use an else statement. Then we want to unlock the cursor. Now, since these two are methods, we need to create them below the update. So let's go down and let's create a void. First would be lock cursor. The second would be a void unlock cursor. Okay, so now we are getting somewhere. You can see our start method now can call on the method. And then if the game is active, we want to lock the cursor. If it's not active, we want to unlock the cursor. Alright, so let me undo. Okay. Alright, so this has been fixed. Everything should go according to plan now. So inside the void lock cursor, cursors work like enums. For those who haven't worked with that, it's just a state which you keep certain game objects at a certain time if you're not using them, or whatever state you want them to be in. So in this case, it's going to be our cursor dot log state. Okay, so this gives us access to the enum for the cursor. So let's set this to be equal to cursor dot lock mode, or let this be cursor lock mode. You can see it there. So cursor lock mode, and this would be dot locked. Okay, so this would lock our cursor. And for the unlock cursor, it's going to be similar. So we're going to copy this line and paste it down here. But for this, it's not going to be unlocked. It's going to be none. So if there is none, it's not unlocked. So for those who went ahead of me to type unlock, it's not unlocked. This is the state which it's going to be in. Now we can save this and go back into Unity. Okay, so inside Unity, once this loads, go ahead and create an empty game object and rename this to cursor control. Reset the transform and then drag the cursor hide script onto it. So once you do this, you can hit play. Hide cursor inside of your game so that you make it look cleaner. So this will be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed my video, make sure you give me a like, comment down below if there's anything more you want to see, and I'm considering making a racing game. So if you think that's a nice idea, just leave it down below in the comment. Thank you for watching this video. As always, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Click the red button down below, or if you are using a system to watch this, click the button to your right. There is a little button over there. So thank you for watching again, and I hope I see you in my next video.